Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show. Relatively short video. It's going to be a haul video. As you probably know, thanks to your psychological help from me, I have definitely slowed down my purchasing, and I'm feeling much happier about it. I'm only picking up stuff that really interests me, and small amounts. Anyway, today I did pick up a couple of things that I'm pretty psyched about, so I'm going to talk about it. Had a big rock and roll weekend, by the way. I saw Martin Barr. That was Friday night, and I saw Al Stewart Saturday night, and they were both amazing concerts. I'm going to do individual reviews of them because they're very different. But I had a great time at both of them. Had great seats as well. I took pictures, so I'll try to mix in the pictures in the video somehow. Anyway, let's talk about what I picked up today. It's not a lot, but they're kind of cool. So this one at the flea market, I picked this up for $4. I know you like hearing it. This is a silver. This is a bootleg. The Rolling Stones, the Bigger Bang outtakes. You can tell I'm tired. I can't speak well. It's a silver, and this is the track listing. You got 18 tracks, but you know some of them like "Let Me Down Slow." There's got to be 5 versions of that. It won't take long. Got a couple of versions of that. And I listened to this today, and as you know, I'm a huge fan of bootlegs, and this is a perfect example why. So, you know, if you're into a band, obviously I love the Stones, you know, like for instance, there's some great bootlegs. Like this is a 4 CD box set called Voodoo Brew. There's another one right there. Can you see that? Voodoo Stew is another 4 CD box set. 8 CDs just of the making of Voodoo Lounge. So you really get a taste of the album, and there's versions of it that are much rawer than the original release. Well, you know, I got mixed feelings about A Bigger Bang. Thought it was a fine record. I did really like it, but it's a little bit long, and I don't really go back to it all that much. But this thing is extraordinary. So the funny thing about A Bigger Bang, the first track on the opening track is Rough Justice. And I always thought that was just kind of an okay song. It's kind of like Stones by Numbers. A lot of people raved about it. They even played it live. And I was like, I don't know. To me, it's just kind of not a great opening Stones track. And in fact, when I go back to A Bigger Bang, I usually pass it. And I start with the second song, Let Me Down Slow. It's just me. Well, check this out. This bootleg of alternative versions of the track starts with Let Me Down Slow. And these are all different versions, much rawer, but really professionally recorded. They sound great. I mean, there's overdubs on it. They sound awesome. But the track listing on this version of Bigger Bang is definitely better than the track listing on the original album. I'm telling you, it's killer. And they're great, more powerful versions. Let Me Down Slow. It won't take long. It's a great track. Streets of Love even sounds better. I mean, still hate the lyrics. She Saw Me Coming, still's got all those big China crashes from Charlie. Biggest Mistake is Rora. This Place is Empty is different. Oh No, Not You Again. Dangerous Beauty is just an okay track on this album. It kills on this album. There's great playing between Keith and Woody. It's a really good version. And even Driving Too Fast, which is a song that I kind of think is a bit of a throwaway on this album, sounds more powerful on the bootleg version. And then they end it with Don't Want to Go Home and Under the Radar, which are 2 songs that they released on the deluxe reissue of A Bigger Bang on the DVD. It's kind of cool to have them on here. Now, I will tell you that Don't Want to Go Home, I think, is a pretty lame song. But Under the Radar is pretty interesting. It's kind of like a cousin of Child of the Moon. It ain't nearly as good as Child of the Moon, but it's a good track. So there you have it. The first 11 songs are like a new version of A Bigger Bang, and I'm telling you, when I want to hear A Bigger Bang, I'm going to be listening to this bootleg. After that, you get multiple versions of a couple of the tracks. But there's a good example of a really cool bootleg, and that was a great purchase. Story number 2, I was in a record store this afternoon that I go to, and they were playing a CD, and I'm going through all the different stuff and buying stuff, some other stuff. And I'm really digging what he's playing. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is just great. It's kind of country-ish. Really produced really well. It's got some good sound effects in it. And I go up to the owner, his name is Josh, and I said, "Hey Josh, what are you playing? It's great." And it was this. It was Bob Weir, the album Blue Mountain. And so this is an album that came out, I guess, in 2018. My eyes are not so good. I can't see. Anyway, I never in a million years would have known it was Bob Weir. His voice was much deeper. And it was just terrific. Man, I couldn't tell you how good this album was. So Josh is like, "You like it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I never would have known it was Bob Weir." He says, "I'll sell it to you for $5. So there you go. So thank you, Josh, over at Mr. Cheapos. So I bought the Bob Weir album today. Never would have thought that would happen. I mean, I have like every Grateful Dead album, and I do have a couple of Bob Weir albums, but so this is a nice surprise. So I don't know, that must happen. See, you go to a record store and they're playing something, you don't know what it is, you wind up buying it, and that's happened to me on occasion. It's the greatness of hanging out in a record store. So thanks for that. Another thing I bought today, also at Mr. Cheapos. Yeah, I'm a really big Rick Wakeman fan. I think he's the greatest keyboardist ever. He's my favorite. And I just saw this for a good deal. This is a 2 CD set where he redoes just him and a bass player and a drummer, instrumental versions. Disc 1 is classic Yes tracks, and Disc 2 is kind of like a best of his solo stuff. They're all new recordings, Rick Wakeman's greatest hits. And I'm just a Rick Wakeman fan, and you may remember I saw him in concert earlier this year. Took my wife, and she was blown. We had the best time. He's so great. So still, his talent is still immense. So I thought that was a fun purchase. The other thing I bought today, also at Mr. Cheapos, is this one. I'm a really big fan of Blackfield. So Blackfield, as you probably, well, maybe you don't know, is Steven Wilson from Porcupine Tree and great solo artist as well. And Aviv Geffen, one of the biggest Israeli rock stars over in Israel. He's a great talent. And they did these two Blackfield albums initially, Blackfield and Blackfield 2. These are two of the greatest progressive rock albums that I own. They're very melodic. They're easy to listen to. They're still progressive. They rock, but they're great melodies. If you've never heard Blackfield and Blackfield 2, you need to check them out. They're just terrific. These albums were top 3 albums for me in their respective years. When they did those 2 albums, they toured, and they put out a DVD called Blackfield Live in New York City. And that's what this is. This is a DVD, paid $4.99. Thank you, Mr. Cheapos. That's the inside. And this is basically stuff from their first 2 albums. It is a tremendous piece of work. I actually have seen this, but didn't own it, and now I do. So that's what I got today as far as major stuff. Blackfield, New York City, DVDs, Stones, Bigger Bang outtakes, bootleg. Blue Mountain from Bob Weir and Rick Wakeman's greatest hits. You may see this other stuff. I'm a laserdisc guy, not to collect them. I actually watch them, and it goes through my surround sound. They sound incredible. The look is not as good as DVD or Blu-ray, but they look real good. And I thought these were interesting, so you may get a kick out of this. I have a big laserdisc collection of what I watch. This is The Chieftains, an Irish evening live at the Grand Opera House in Belfast with Roger Daltrey and Nancy Griffith. This is a laserdisc, and it's still sealed. I used to buy laserdiscs at a place called Laserland. So this was originally $29.99, and I picked it up today, $2.99 with 20% off. So looking forward to checking that out. Now, one of my newest viewers is a really big classical music guy. And I don't have any classical music pretty much. But I enjoy classical music, especially when it's mixed with rock, like Renaissance and things like that. So because of your influence, I decided to pick this up. And this looks interesting. This is Classic Visions 3 on Laserdisc. The Visions of Adrian Marthaler. I don't know who that is. But it's an orchestra of doing Mozart and Arnold Schoenberg, who I don't know who that is. But the cool thing, instead of just watching an orchestra, they put, psychedelic visions with it. So I could watch it and listen to it and enjoy the classical music, but instead of just watching an orchestra, you're watching cool visuals. I think this should be interesting. So that's the second Laserdisc I picked up. And I don't remember who was telling me I should get into classical music more. But thank you for your influence. I actually took a classical music class in college. And the third thing I got is another kind of Laserdisc like that called Watercolors, music by Pete Bardens. And same kind of thing. Beautiful music from Pete Bardens, great musician, of course, and with visuals of water. So when I have a headache or really stressed or working out here in my den, I could listen to nice music and run and have cool stuff to look at. I thought that was kind of neat. $1.99. So 3 laser discs and Blackfield, the Rolling Stones, Bob Weir, Rick Wakeman. That's my haul for this week. As we're getting closer to the Rolling Stones, Hackney Diamonds, and I still got to get that Jethro Tull box. So that's where we're at. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. If you're wondering, you notice that I wear a hat on all of my videos, and I thought it would be kind of fun that every hat I wear is something about me, music I love, or maybe a sports team that I used to follow. And obviously I don't have any, sponsors or anything like that. I found this hat at a flea market, but I love hot sauce and Tabasco sauce. So when I eat food, I'm always putting hot sauce on everything, even hot dogs. So that's why I'm wearing a Tabasco sauce. So now when you watch my channel and you get to know me over time, all my hats are places I visited, maybe something about me that means something to me, even in a little way like Tabasco sauce. So there you go. Have a great night. I will see you later this week when I do an Al Stewart review and the Martin Barr review. I got to figure out how to get the pictures into a video somehow, but I'll figure it out. Have a great night. I'll see you next time.